Okay, students, let's get hyped. We're on reflections in a coordinate plane, phase 1. This is the main event. You guys ready?
Let's get ready to rumble!
Alright, now that we're all hyped, let's get ready to rumble. In a reflection, the pre-image and image are congruent. Don't you forget that, alright? Everything we're doing right now, translations, now reflections, and eventually rotations, they're congruent. And they're equidistant to the line of reflection. Alright, people say, what does equidistant mean? Sometimes that shocks me because it's kind of a self-explanatory word. Equidistance means equal distance. Alright. So, what does that mean? Let's just do a bunch of reflections. Just dive right in and start practicing. Alright. So, we're going to reflect the pre-image across the x-axis. Alright. And I'll do this in forest orange. Alright. So, it's equidistant. What does that mean? Well, let's just go in numerical order. Notice how A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 above the line, so it's going to be 5 below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. That's A prime. So a lot of these, if you're good at counting, you're going to be good at the reflections. Right? It's a lot of counting. B is 6 above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So B will be 6 below. C is 1 above, so C prime will be 1 above, below, and similarly for D, it's going to look like this. Very beautiful. Alright, and then just let's focus on A. Notice how A was at negative 7, 5. And A prime was at negative 7, negative 5. And let's look at 2 points just to emphasize things. B was at negative 3, 6. So B prime was at negative 3, negative 6. So on and so forth. Alright. We're going to elaborate on this more, but notice how when we reflect over the x-axis, the x's stayed the same. And then the y values changed sign. All right, so that's going to kind of be a punchline. All right, and now let's reflect the original pre-image over the y-axis. So the hardest part about reflecting over the x or y-axis is just remembering which axis is which. A common mistake, even me, sometimes I goof up my axes. All right, so now A is 7 to the left, so A prime will be 7 to the right. B is 3 to the left, so B prime will be, or 3 to the left, 3 to the right. C is 2, so 2. And D is 3 to the left, so it'll be 3 to the right. And then we'll make this look like this. Very nice. All right. And then let's just emphasize things again. A, negative 7, 5. In this case, now A prime is 7, 5. B was negative 6, 3. And in this case, B prime was 3, 6. So notice how the x's, their signs change when you go over the y-axis. And the y value stayed the same. All right, so that's it. And this kind of makes perfect sense that the images are equidistant from the line. Because like when you look in a mirror, if you're standing 3 feet from a mirror, your reflection looks like it's 3 feet inside the mirror. If you're standing 10 feet from a mirror, your image looks like it's 20 feet from you. All right, so let's keep cruising right along. All right, let's actually hold up on example 2. We'll go out of order. Let's do example 3. So it's common we do the x and y axis. We can do any horizontal and any vertical line. So let's do blue. Y equals 3 again. The hardest part about this is remembering that this is y equals 3. All right. because remember, y equals 3 crosses the y-axis at 3. All right, so we'll call this point K. So K is 1 below, so K prime will be 1 above, and it'll be at 3, 4. We'll call this point J. Since J is 3 above the line, J prime will be 3 below at -5, 0. And again, notice how this is 3 above, 3 below, equidistant. All right, now let's cruise right along. Let's go over x equals -1, which is this point right here. Because this is the x-axis, and that's -1 right there. So J, -5, 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. I need to put it 5 or 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. J prime goes right there, and now it's at 3, 6. Similarly, K is at 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. K prime is now at -5, 2. All right, so really, in my opinion, reflecting over a horizontal line is very easy. It's basically just counting. Now let's dive into reflecting over slanted lines. All right, it might be scary at first. You might be shaking in your boots. First off, y equals x. I know you guys got this last year, but students like to forget that this is actually in slope-intercept form. All right, it has a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 0. So this line, y-intercept of 0 and a slope of 1, it's this thing right here. All right, this is the line of reflection. All right, now let's do W first. Why not? Gotta pick something first. So W is at 1, 3. All right, now you can maybe predict where W prime will land. The answer is boom right here. All right, and there's a couple different ways to do this. All right, one way, this is not how I do it. I'm going to tell you how I do it later, but I don't want to ruin it yet. Is the slanted, this is perpendicular, but that's a diagonal of 1, and that's a diagonal of 1. All right, if you kind of use that thinking, see, it's like not the way I do it, because like how this is 2.5, so then we have to go 2.5 again. But R is at, so if R is at -3, 2, R prime is at 2, -3. Another way to do it, again, I don't do it this way. You could also do it, you could say, well, I need to go down 3 over 2. So then I'm going to go 3, 2. I don't like to do it that way because that one looks kind of messy as well. Again, I'm not revealing my method quite yet. But Q is at -5, -4. Q prime is going to be boom, right there, equidistant, -4, -5. All right, now, what's the rule? The way I do it, there's a lot of rules with reflections, and especially with rotations, there's a lot of rules. I try not to memorize the rules, I just try to do it, but there is some rules I've memorized, and this is how you do this one. Notice how the points just switch. The X becomes the Y each and every time. All right, so in 1, 3 becomes 3, 1. -3, 2 becomes 2, -3. -4 or -5, -4 becomes -4, -5. All right, so that's the rule when you do y equals x. All right, the other one is y equals -x. This is the last one. All right, and again, this is just has a slope of -1 and a y-intercept of 0. So it's going to be the same line, just nice negative, nice negative. Think Favorite guy, slope dude. Okay, so let's just do the same order. W is still 1, 3. Alright. Now you could say, well, I have to go left 2, then down 2, so I'm going to swap the order and go down 2, left 2. And boom. Again, a bunch of different ways. That's where W prime lands. But notice how W prime now is at -3, -1. Huh. I think I might know the pattern already, but still not quite sure. Alright. R is just going to bloop right over the top of the line. Nice and perpendicular. But if R is -3, 2, R prime is at -2, 3. And lastly, Q. Q's really far away. Q's got a hike to reflect over this line. Q is at -5, -4. So Q, all right, 1, 2. See how that's just even kind of sloppy? I don't even think I did that the best way. That's why I don't like to draw these lines necessarily. It would have been like that. Because we're not even going to do that way. I'm just going to tell you the answer. It's 4, 5. 4, 5, Q prime, so far away. Alright? So above, when it was y equals x up here, notice how it was just swap order. Alright, that's all we did. Here, notice how we're still kind of swapping the order, but there's a little bit more going on. Swapping the order, swapping the order, swapping the order. However, what else is going on? We're changing the signs, we're changing the signs, we're changing the signs. Alright, so when we do y equals x, -x, you swap order and change sign. Alright, so that's the rule. And we even have some rules for the x and y axis. So there's a bunch of rules. I tend to try not to memorize these rules because they can get a little messy, but they're still good to talk about. Alright, so if AB is reflected over the x-axis, then its image is, well, remember, A stays the same, and then B changes the sign. Similarly, if we reflect over the y-axis, A changes sign, B stays the same. That's the rule. Alright, and to emphasize it, that's what was going on right here. We talked about this already, but the x value, the A, stayed the same. The y value changed sign. And similar stuff down there where the x is changed. Down here, the x is changed, but the y stayed the same. That's when we reflect over the y-axis. And then we were just talking about this for y equals x, you just swap the order. And then for y equals -x, you swap order and change the sign. So those are the rules. Sometimes it's easier just to do them by thinking about it using logic, but those are the rules right there. We're going to do some more problems in the next video. Hopefully you're still ready to rumble. Alright? See you guys in the next video.